And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry.
Whoopi Goldberg is now facing the brutal, disgraceful grip of reality after stirring things up. In our previous video, Bill Maher chastised Sunny Hostin for attempting to misinterpret his words. Whoopi Goldberg appears to be seeking retribution this time, and the View crew is not taking that setback lightly. It appears like Sunny couldn't handle the heat Bill Maher brought, so she called for reinforcements. I can assure you that Whoopi Goldberg is ready to fight like a contestant on a reality show that nobody signed up for.
Got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
Classic Whoopi Goldberg will turn to the woke playbook as if it were her holy book as your argument starts to sink like the Titanic. She launches a full-scale assault after summoning a straw man. Bill Maher, in my opinion, made it quite clear that African Americans desire improved employment opportunities, a robust economy, and accountable law enforcement. But then Whoopi starts discussing supporting a former prosecutor's efforts on behalf of the working class. Does that make sense? No, not because there aren't any.
White people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
He emphasized that Whoopi's ideas are probably inconsistent, a characteristic that The Viewpoint is all too familiar with. The show has evolved into the political talk show equivalent of a train wreck, which is strange and usually entertaining, but hard to watch. It is widely known for its divisive and, let's be honest, dubious opinions on almost everything, but Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg's blatantly vulgar remarks have taken the unrest to a whole new level. The god Charlemagne appeared as a visitor and asked if he had entered a new world.
Statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no, it's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Sleazy President Bill Maher, who publicly declares that everyone is subject to the law, just pardoned his son Hunter Biden after his son was unavoidably found guilty of corruption and related offenses. This decision has received a lot of criticism, which is not surprising. How can you uphold the idea that nobody is above the law when your own son gets a fresh start? It appears that justice overlooks Bill Maher, but it seemed like the family agenda was more important than accountability. In this case, Charlemagne stepped in.
All of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that.
And now for another exciting moment from the queen of cringe, Whoopi Goldberg. In this round, Whoopi made a strong case that Bill Maher's claim that everyone is subject to the law was accurate. Whoopi, a ton of evidence, including audio recordings, movies, and possibly even drawings from ancient caves, clearly demonstrates that he made that exact sentence.
I'm gonna stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a
No,
sudden?
I'm gonna tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
Whoopi's mental acrobatics could earn her a spot in the Olympics, but she would probably stumble over her own logic at this point. Whoopi didn't stop there. Despite Charlemagne's clear look of disbelief in response to her remarks, she went on to speculate that President Biden may have changed his stance because he was fed up with everyone exceeding him. It's like seeing someone adamantly claim that the sky isn't blue. Her claims absolutely shocked and stunned Charlemagne.
This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
The problem with the so-called woke mob is that they only bring attention to wrongdoing when the perpetrator is not a member of their exclusive inner circle. However, the outrage quickly turns into a convenient example of selective forgetting or subdued responses when the offender is one of their own people. Naturally, Charlamagne's appearance on the show lets Whoopi and her group avoid responsibility, but when Bill Maher learned of their antics, he said, "Hold my beer," and delivered one of the most severe verbal abuse we've heard in a long time.
So I'm just gonna follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that
They're
go out there and they stand on this moral high ground.
Listen.
They don't have to do that.
Bill Maher couldn't have put it better himself. The so-called woke mob loves to flaunt themselves as the ultimate arbiters of truth and morality, but their double standards have been exposed for everyone to see. Take Hunter Biden, for example. Guilty as charged, plain and simple, yet because his father holds the Oval Office, Hunter walks away without so much as a slap on the wrist. If it were anyone else, the mob would be demanding their head on a silver platter. But when it's one of their own, justice conveniently takes a backseat to favoritism. It's hypocrisy at its peak, and Bill Maher was spot on. And calling it out for the sham, it truly is a complete farce. The pressing question now is, how much longer will Americans tolerate this duplicitous behavior? This isn't just about Hunter. It's about a system that bends over backwards for the powerful while relentlessly throwing the book at everyone else. Bill Maher's takedown wasn't merely timely, it served as a wake-up call for anyone still clinging to the illusion of fairness. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Bill Maher highlighted that the woke mob often receives backing from mainstream media.
We love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bull.
Bill Maher didn't like it. He called her out for playing defense rather than looking for the truth, methodically dissecting her arguments and exposing the obvious inconsistency for everyone to see. Major media sources ignored the story as Russian misinformation and censored dissenting voices despite mounting proof. Whoopi Goldberg entered the conflict right away, disputing the accuracy of the charges aired on The View.
Appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden.
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course, you don't
but
follow
I'm
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true.
The Perspective's women, especially Whoopi Goldberg, are not only awake, but they also resemble a gang of venomous sharks who are constantly searching for anyone who doesn't share their ideals. Instead of having meaningful conversations or learning the facts, they utilize cunning smirks and sardonic snark to intimidate opponents and enforce their beliefs. Whoopi, in particular, has mastered the ability of casually waving away opposing voices. It is hardly surprising that he has become a problem in their side. In a room full of old and repetitious arguments, Bill Maher's conclusions are like a breath of fresh air.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied.
Instead of blaming Russia, racism, or whatever new scapegoat is popular on Twitter this week, Mark believes the woke mob should stop hanging on to their pearls over Bill Maher's victory and start facing reality. His message resonated with millions of Americans, regardless of how much it infuriated the progressive left. And he won the election in a fair and impartial manner. He didn't conjure it out of thin air, steal it, or cheat for it.
Run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. But a poll last year asked, if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey.
If the left wants to win, perhaps they should concentrate on what genuinely appeals to the average American, rather than alienating the middle class by adopting every fringe idea from the activist playbook. This isn't because of Bill Maher's tweets or his infamous panning bed look, but rather because the alternative was like listening to a self-righteous vegan sermon at a cookout.
I'm saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
It's hilarious gold, indeed. Bill Maher didn't just put the finishing touches on Whoopi Goldberg's fate, he almost created it while laughing at its ridiculousness. Whoopi, the self-described high priestess of the awakening movement, dared to chastise Bill Maher for having the audacity to think independently. She made a grave mistake in judgment. Bill Maher's response was quintessential. Bill Maher, incisive, honest, and hilariously sharp. He underscored the ridiculousness of a co-host from The View, a show that prides itself on being a platform for various perspectives, condemning him for having a perspective that, as usual,